From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
It's Monday, and it's time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. Crazy NFL Sunday somewhat yesterday, but kind of formful at the same time, too. You know, we had some great games college football-wise Saturday. We had great boxing matches this weekend as well, too. Saturday, bidding farewell to Showtime. Also, great unification fight between Bam and Sonny over in Arizona. So that was pretty good as well, too. Then, you know, you had a great college basketball this weekend as well, too. College basketball getting intense, getting real good. We're getting real close to conference play and everything like that. And the NBA is going to be NBA. You know how it goes. So pretty much let's go ahead and get into it. You know what time it is. It's Monday. You know, I always get into the aftermath of Monday. You know what I mean? What's going on in the world of the NFL. The four biggest storylines to me, you know, my four biggest storylines from how I feel that are pushing the grand scheme of things as well. So, you know, let's go ahead and jump into it. First, Flacco leads the Browns to fourth quarter comeback win, beating the Bears 20-17. And that game was woo-wee. That game was close. Man, I'm telling you right now, Bears fans will sit there thriving in agony because that's like the fourth win this year that they could have had. You know what I mean? Honestly, the Bears could probably be atop of the NFC North right now if they didn't lose so many games so close. That's the biggest issue with them. The Bears have probably blown 5 games that they could have easily won if they would have just been able to hold on and make certain plays happen and things like that. It was crazy. The Bears were very sharp for 3.5 quarters. They had a great third quarter as well, too. It looked like they were going to get an ugly, low-scoring win at once we hit the fourth quarter because it seemed like Flacco couldn't figure out anything. Montez Sweat was an absolute terror on the line. It was just a lot of things that were going well for the Bears yesterday. But then that fourth quarter hit, and Joe Flacco threw for 212 yards in the fourth quarter to go ahead and help the Browns win this game. Big touchdown run from Amari Cooper, big touchdown catch and run, And it was a beautiful dime. It was just right on the money. Also threw a key pass to Marquise Goodwin as well, too. That was just absolutely perfection. And Joe Flacco showing at the age of 38 that he still has the big arm that can really produce big numbers and everything like that. I thought that the Browns did not run the ball enough yesterday. I think that they overused Flacco a little bit. That's why Flacco had 3 interceptions yesterday and was sacked 4 times as well, too. But he made up for it with 2 touchdown passes. And like I said, 212 yards in the fourth quarter. He threw for over 374 yards. Jerome Ford, you know, he started off well yesterday, but they didn't run him enough. He only got 8 carries yesterday. Hunt only got 7 carries as well, and Pierre Strong only had 2. So when you look at it right now, they only carried the ball 18 times. That's very low compared to what you expect from the Browns, but it made a lot of sense because what was happening in the game is that the Bears run a lot of zone. And so when you run a lot of zone, you get really, really, really into passing the ball. You know what I mean? Because the zone has so many voids that you can expose. And that just pretty much means that they're doing a good job up front as well, too, that they can go into the zone as much as they did yesterday as well, too. So there's just a lot of things that happened, but the Browns did win by the hairs of their chinny chin. Mooney had the ball right there in his hands. Mooney could have went ahead and won this game yesterday, but the ball deflected up. Luckily, Ronnie Hickman was there to go ahead and get the pick and move on from there. But the Browns moving forward right now, 9-5. The Browns really at this point right now, they're a team that can get in at 10-7 because the Browns do have an advantage in the conference wins that they have this year. See, that's where a lot of people get really kind of sidetracked a little bit. If the Browns make the playoffs, the Browns really only need one more win to make the playoffs. And when you look at the Browns record the rest of the way, regardless of how you feel about this team, those games are set up for the Browns to actually sweep this situation as well too. As I said before, when I looked at the Browns final 4 games, I said they can sweep this thing because Houston, we'll talk about them in a moment. Who is Houston for real? We're going to see next Sunday. And then the Jets, they're out of it. Come on, man. Come on. Even if Rodgers plays in that game against the Browns, it's not going to be anything that's going to help the Jets. And then at the end of the year, they go against little brother and the Bengals. And let's all keep it real. There's only one team that can say that they have a little brother in the league for real, it's the Browns. So it's going to be a lot of fun because they're probably going to be the end. They're probably going to be the reason Cincinnati either makes or not makes the playoffs at the end of the year. That's who's really on the outside looking in. But the way things set up today, you got the Browns 9-5, you got the Colts 8-6, you got the Bengals 8-6, and then you do have a Bills team that's also 8-6 as well too. So things are looking a little more pieced out a little bit in the AFC, but we still got a crazy 3 weeks to go here at the end of the year. So pretty much let's move forward from there. Great game yesterday from both teams. And you know what? The Browns move forward 9-5. The Bears dropped to 5-9, but the Bears got a lot of optimism at the end of the day. The Bears got a lot going on, and now you know that they don't have to force this thing and go get the quarterback. They really don't. They know what they need to do. They really should go use both those picks on 2 of the top offensive linemen in the draft. And I'm telling you right now, that team will be a playoff team if they draft the offensive lineman in this draft this year. So we move forward, and here we go. I mean, in 2024, not this year, but 2024. But we have the Texans pulled off OT win over rival Titans, 19-16, with Case Keemun under center. And you guys have to all remember Case Keemun led this team to the playoffs years ago. And it's funny because I think D'Amico Ryans was on the team then as well too. So it's crazy to see that D'Amico Ryans is his head coach now. And instead of going to with another young Bucky backup, he had Case Keemun in place to be able to help this team get to a win like this against a team that's not as good this year in the Titans. The Titans are really below expectations this year. They had a couple, when they got DeAndre Hopkins, you had optimism that this team was going to be pretty good. Will Levis had a cool game yesterday, but he could have been better. He got sacked 7 times yesterday. He threw an interception as well too, but he kept things flowing. But the thing is, Will Levis is learning on the job, and this team is really running into a lot of just situations where they just really are just learning as they go. And I think that the Titans yesterday, they were pumped up. They wore the old Oilers jersey kind of in a way to troll a little bit with the Texans, who really would love to wear the old Oilers gear, but they don't have any rights to it. So pretty much it was kind of a slight showing Houston's past versus Houston's present. And you know what? Houston's present won out. And the Texans just didn't quit. The Texans have figured out how to win football games. So it didn't matter if C.J. Stroud was under center. As long as they had an experienced quarterback in the game yesterday, they were able to get this victory, because that's how it goes with teams that are well coached and well prepared. And that's exactly what the Texans are. And you know what? A lot of people, we've all sat here all season really saying, when are they just going to fall apart? They had their learning curve and learning experiences in the first month of the season when they lost those first 2 games of the year. And then when they started getting comfortable, but really it's all about CJ always being confident in his teammates. So then they stay confident. Devin Singletary was the star of the show yesterday. He had 121 yards on 26 carries. This guy's absolutely playing out of his mind after kind of being getting stagnant there in Buffalo. And then Noah Brown, the third receiver, had a big game yesterday. 8 catches, 82 yards with the touchdown as well, too. Dalton Schultz, one of the more consistent tight ends in the NFL. Doesn't get a lot of talk about it, but he goes ahead and he gets 58 yards yesterday as well, too. This was all helpful to get this team home. But the 7 sacks, that's the difference in the game. It's just that simple. That's the difference in the game. They shut down DeAndre Hopkins as well, too. They held him to 21 yards on 2 catches. He had 9 targets, but they kept him in check. And you know what? They got themselves a great win. Walk-off field goal. They go ahead and win this one 19-16. They keep their playoff hopes alive, but they're on the outside looking in because of their situation with the Colts. So pretty much they have a good situation going on for the rest of the year because they play divisional games as well, too. But the biggest game of the season is coming up on Sunday against the Browns because literally they have to win this game to stay right there in the mix of the playoffs because the Browns actually at this point can afford a loss. That's the whole thing because they have 6 wins already in conference play. If the Browns are able to just win one of these games, I guarantee they'll clinch their playoff spot because everything will work itself out next week, but they got to put themselves in position to do that. But this is going to be the game of the week, and I'm surprised that they haven't flexed it to Sunday Night Football yet because it's definitely a Sunday Night Football game. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and that's going to be a great game. Browns-Texans, I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. It reminds you of the good old days in the old AFC Central when you used to have the Oilers playing against the Browns. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about the Bills dominating the Cowboys to continue their pursuit of a playoff berth. As I said to everybody, they thought I was crazy, but I said Buffalo should be able to win out here in the last 5 games. They already took care of 2 of them. Now they have themselves 3 more games to go. These games are going to be tough, but they're going to be games that are going to be very winnable for this team as well, too. That's what you got to understand about a team like Buffalo. They've been there, done that. They've already conquered the way of getting into the playoffs. So as long as they're there in the mix, they are confident that they can make the playoffs, but they don't own tiebreakers. That's what the biggest problem is. They get a square with the Chargers who pretty much quit last week. We saw that. They quit last week, got their coach fired. This new coach is not going to get anything out of them. I'm going to keep it real with you. The Chargers are on vacation already. So it's really funny to me how things change up that quickly, to where everybody thought New England was the only square they had, but you got 2 squares in a row, and then you got Miami at the end of the season. How will Miami approach this game, though? That's the biggest question. You know what I mean? Because, look, Miami could already be in place of clinching their playoff spot and already winning the AFC East, blase. Or the AFC East can be on the line. And when we get down to if the AFC East is on the line, I like Buffalo in that game, to be honest with you, because I think Buffalo has Miami's number. Even though this is going to be a game in Miami where Miami has played well all season, Miami is been an absolute just juggernaut at home. They lost a bad game on Monday Night Football, but that's because they kind of fell asleep at the wheel. But this week will judge exactly who Miami is in this game against Dallas. Once again, it's going to be an afternoon game as well, too. And then they got Baltimore coming up the next week. So these 2 games are going to be really tough for Miami moving forward. They're 10-4. You have an 8-6 team. So if they were to lose 2 in a row, you have this team win 2 in a row, then we have ourselves a showdown for the AFC East title. So all in all, I really do feel that when it comes down to it, Miami really does have to work to get these 2, get at least one of these wins here, because they still have an ailing Tyreek Hill, who I still consider the MVP of the NFL, even though they want to hand it to Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson at this point. But we all know who's the most valuable player for their team, and it's none other than Tyreek Hill. And then the second guy up will be Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey showed his value yesterday in a big win over the Arizona Cardinals. So this was a really, really good win for the Bills moving forward. Cowboys fans, don't stress out too hard because the Cowboys had already clinched their playoff spot for yesterday. The Eagles are going through a real bad transition right now. It's got to the point to where they have to have Matt Patricia calling plays on the sideline this weekend. They sent the defensive coordinator upstairs. So pretty much they got a lot going on there. So the Cowboys are good. Even though their schedule's a little tough here at the end of the year, the Cowboys are still a team that's very, very tough towards the rest of the NFL. But if the Buffalo Bills have figured out that they have a running game at this point, OMG, the Bills will be one of the tougher teams going into the AFC playoffs, because that was the one thing that they always needed, was a run game to take a little bit of the pressure off of Josh Allen. And yesterday, Cook was so good at doing that, and you saw what happened. They were able to keep the ball grounded, so that means that they can run the clock, so that means the defense can get the proper rest that they need so they don't get cooked in the fourth quarter, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. So good win for the Bills, and moving forward, this is going to be a really, really good journey for this team, possibly being able to still win the AFC East. That's incredible. But all in all, I'm still betting on Miami to win, because I got to have them win, because that's who I chose to win with the plus 550. So there it goes. All right. So we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our next, which is going to be the Ravens getting a big win, and the first to clinch a playoff spot in the AFC with a thorough win on SNF on Sunday Night Football. Beat Jags 23-7. Jags were really out of their element yesterday. I do not like the body language on that team. I think that Trevor Lawrence is way more hurt than they're putting on. I think he's just being a tough guy right now. And Lamar Jackson just pretty much showed us why he's worth every penny for the Ravens. See, you got to understand, guys are going to fit on teams, and that's exactly what has happened with brother Lamar Jackson. He has just found the correct fit. I don't think he would be this successful with any other team in the NFL but the Ravens, because the Ravens are already a run-first mentality team, and then they're also a team that really is really tough on the defensive end, and Lamar Jackson has proven that he can be a game changer and a game manager. When you can do both, that's absolutely exceptional. And I think that that alone really does make Lamar Jackson, if we're going to just give the quarterback the MVP award, that makes him the MVP, in my opinion. It doesn't matter what you are stat-wise. It's what you are leader-wise, because without Lamar, this team won't be able to function the right way. But if you were to have my man Sam Darnold start for the 49ers, I don't think they miss a beat. Because y'all can say what you want about Sam Darnold, but look at the two toxic situations Sam Darnold was a part of. Carolina, you had a coach that got fired mid-season. Same thing happened in New York. You had a coach that got fired mid-season, and you weren't the issue. It was because the both franchises were absolutely a toxic situation where they weren't really allowing their players to be great. And that's where it comes at. But this right here, with their situation, they have a decent backup quarterback that can keep them going. But Lamar really does bring the wins to the table, and he does give them their best chance to win the Super Bowl when he is starting and when he is healthy. Then you have Isaiah Likely. You know, he's replacing a big-time tight end, all-pro tight end, but I think he's the better player. This has became a very good element for Lamar moving forward to actually move this offense accordingly. Yes, they lost Keaton Smith last night to a knee injury. He's been very, very key to what this team has done all season long. But at the end of the day, it's next man up. And the Ravens have been a next man up team for the last 6 years. You know what I mean? Last decade, to be exact. You know, and they've never relied on, calling people stars. That's the whole thing. They think everybody on the Ravens thinks they're a star. But I think at the end of the day, the Ravens set themselves apart on both sides of the ball, and they have a strong chance to actually win the AFC and win the Super Bowl this year because they have the MVP of the league, if you're going to say a quarterback's the MVP, and then they also have the defensive MVP in the league too. I know nobody wants to mention him that much, and he's not a pass rusher like Myles Garrett and TJ Watt and Khalil Mack, but this guy really does bring every element that you truly need for a team to be successful, and that's Kyle Hamilton. Straight up. Y'all need to go check number 14's highlights. I told y'all when I interviewed him during draft week, and I told him himself that you could be the best safety of all time if you do this thing right. And he's playing that role to a T. You know what I mean? It's early, but right now, Kyle Hamilton has every look of being an all-time great. And I think that he's the X factor and really what's going on here in Baltimore. And last night, they was just dominant. You know what I mean? They took advantage of a Jags team that's truly hurt. And you know what? Their quarterback is just not moving correctly. That's all it is. And you're putting a lot of pressure on your playmakers right now. So I don't know what the Jaguars are going to do. Hopefully they can go ahead and sew up the AFC South, and then they can go ahead and take a little bit of a break. But right now, things aren't looking too good for the Jaguars, who were one of the bigger favorites to win their division this year as well, too. So there it is. There it is. There it is. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first break. And when I get back, we are going to jump into the NBA. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, and I'll be right back at you.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. Let's go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers. And the Lakers have the always fun game for me. This is the New York versus LA game. New York versus LA. You know what I mean? This is always a fun game. I went to this game, Kobe's final game against the Knicks. It was absolutely insane. Carmelo Anthony finished off that game with a baseline 3, and he put one of the greatest moves I've ever seen live in a game on Larry Nance Jr. to finish that one up. So that was a great memory. And the funnest part about it was I was going back and forth. I was in a suite that night too. I was going back and forth with a Knicks fan who was in the other suite, and we were really going at it. And then when Carmelo hit that shot, it's like I was respect. And see, that's what I'm talking about when you actually go watch a game and you're going against other fans. You understand that you're not playing in the game, but you can go ahead and have a back and forth with a fan without going in there and kicking their butt afterwards if you lose the game or something like that. It's all good fun. That's what it's all about. We knew we weren't playing. We just knew that, both of our teams were going at it, and it was a lot of fun. And, at the end of the day, these are people that live in Los Angeles as well, too. So, they were just rooting for the Knicks for the night. They're Laker fans at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because that's how it just goes. But that's how it be with Lakers and Knicks fans, man. It seems like that it's always a mutual respect on both sides. But I think both secretly root for each other when they don't have to play each other. That's what I always think. And I always call the Knicks my East Coast team because there's a story to that. I used to watch the Knicks get abused by Jordan in the early 90s, and that used to break my heart for the Knicks because it seemed like the Knicks were the better team. You know what I mean? They were the better story. They were the better everything. But Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. He does what he does. And then, I played for the Knicks in my little rec leagues and things like that. And when I won my one championship in the rec league, I played for almost 10 years in those leagues. I played as a little guy, and then I played up till my freshman year in high school. And, by the time we got to that point, we were able to win the championship as the Knicks. So I always was a big on the Knicks. You know what I mean? So pretty much, and it was funny because I was always playing for the Bulls in those leagues, and the Knicks were always beating me. And so then I finally played for the Knicks, and we won. So, that's how it goes. But when it comes down to the game, you got a Knicks team that's probably tired. I'm going to keep it real. This might be the most tired team in the NBA right now. They played like 4 games in the last 5 days, all West Coast. But, they played against the better West Coast teams too. They're not playing against just, the lollygags. They're playing against good teams. You know what I mean? They started their road trip on the 13th of last week. And you know what? It's only been a 3-gamer, but, they lose to Utah by 4. Then they come back around. Jalen drops 50 on the Suns. And then Saturday night, they got absolutely scorched. But I think they was trying to get to the club. They lost 144 to 122. So this team has been giving up a lot of points the last few nights. The Lakers, on the other hand, they should be well rested, even though they were dealing. Yeah, you should be well rested because you literally just got your head beat in by the Spurs, who had lost 18 games in a row. But that's okay because, Wemby kind of played up to it against the Lakers because he just really wanted to just play up to it. Now, the Lakers have had a little bit more breaks than everybody as well, too, because the Lakers have actually been in this tournament and everything like that. So they actually sort of got the week off the week before. So they played 3 games last week. They lost 2 of them. They're back here Monday night before they start a 3-game stretch against the Bulls, Wolves, and the Thunder. Then they come back for 2 games back-to-back. They got Christmas against the Celtics, and then they got a Thursday night game against LaMelo. Well, I don't think LaMelo's playing. I'm sorry. But they got a Thursday night game against the Hornets. And then they got back-to-back road games to finish up the year. So pretty much that's where they're going with that. But when you look at both these teams and you look at the way that this game goes, the last 5, the Knicks have lost 3 out of 5. The Lakers have won 3 out of 5. So they're very, very, very even in a lot of categories as well, too. So you know what? When I look at this game, I like the under more than anything. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. Lakers versus Knicks, always a fun game. Always a fun game. It don't matter what their records are. These teams always come to play each other. So you have to expect that tonight as well, too. So I look forward to another fun game between the Knicks and the Lakers. And right now, I will say this, it's a 50-50 for AD and LeBron to play. So that's why I'm kind of banking on the under a little bit tonight as well, too. But I doubt very seriously that you won't have both of them playing tonight. But I honestly think that both of them are a go. Nobody wants to miss the Knicks game. Let's keep it real. Nobody wants to miss the Knicks game. So we move forward. NBA Monday night. We got ourselves 11 games tonight. That's kind of rare for early in the NBA season for a Monday. You know what I mean? But I think that they're trying to get as many games in right now since it's the holidays and everything like that, and knowing that people will be watching. So what's our first game to talk about? It's going to be the Cavs and the Rockets, and this game is going to be in Cleveland tonight. You got a Rockets team coming in here 13-10. Cavs are a little cooked right now, 14-12. Just lost Evan Mobley for the next 6 weeks. You also have an over-under of 22-14.5, with this being a 4.5-point spread. Now you have a Rockets team that's coming into this one kind of cocky right now, but they did win their last 4 out of 5, even though they did drop a game yesterday against the Bucks. I'm so sorry. Against the Bucks, but all in all, they had won 5 in a row before that. So they're playing pretty good here in the month of December. They are 5-2. They are an improved basketball team from what they were last year, and that's very, very good to see because they were absolutely atrocious last season. But Udoka is not playing around with these guys. He wants to make sure that they're playing great basketball at this point. Then you have the Cavs, 14-12. The Cavs have struggled a bit. They lost 3 in a row. Then they were able to get a good win against Atlanta the other day, beating them by 8. So, this is going to be a really, really, this game is going to be one of these games that you really got to look at and say to yourself, what's going to be the real outcome of this game? You know what I mean? Who wants it more? Who needs it more? And I really say this, I don't trust the Cavs right now. I think the Cavs are going to be a middling to below average team here for the next month and a half without Evan Mobley, their lead rebounder, their lead defender, their lead shot blocker, their lead everything that's not scoring. So pretty much I think that tonight we get an upset. I'm taking the plus 145 on the Rockets to go ahead and get themselves a great win tonight in Cleveland as they keep moving along with this pretty good record that they have right now and this confidence that they have right now as well too. So we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into our next game, which is going to be probably one of the better games of the night with the Wolves coming in 19-5, best record in the league. And then you have the Heat 15-11 plus 1.5 point spread to the Heat tonight at home. That's very rare for a Heat team that's always really good at home. You have an over under 217.5. You have a team in the Wolves that just refuse to back down. You know what I mean? They want to be great. That's the whole thing. And I told you people this early on in the season that they had the squad to really put things together. They've jumped out here in the month of December 5-1. They had won 3 in a row, lost to New Orleans. Now they've won their last 2 back-to-back. Now, being on the road in a game like this is going to be a game that tests them a bit. But I think that they're up for the test tonight as well, too. But then you have a Heat team that's playing better basketball as well, too. They've won their last 3 out of 5. Even though they haven't played much, you're playing against Charlotte and Chicago and things like that. But still, I think that you still got a great team here in the Heat. They're always going to pose the danger as well, too. So I really can't pick a winner here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick the scoreboard, and I'm going to say this one goes over the 217.5 tonight. I think this is a over game for sure. I think that you're going to get yourself a great matchup between Jimmy and Ant tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right. So we have ourselves our next game, which is going to be the West game of the night. You already know that you got a Mavs team 16-9. You got a Nuggets team 17-10. Nuggets coming in here 7.5 point favorites over under 238.5. We know why the Nuggets are kind of struggling a little bit because the thing is they haven't had Jamal Murray and things like that. And you know what? When you win the NBA championship, you get the target on your back as well too. This team is trying to really play with a nice rapport, but you can tell that they're missing Bruce Brown right now. So it's really funny. Bruce Brown goes to the Pacers and they go to the in-season tournament. So he's starting to look like the most valuable bench player in the NBA at this point because, as you guys know, the Pacers are playing their best basketball in years. And now you got the Nuggets who are kind of missing something. And I think Bruce Brown was the guy that really used to put them over the top. Now they're kind of missing something. So pretty much you got Jokic coming in here, 27 points a game. Murray's getting 18 points a game. And Porter's getting 16.8. So they're playing up to their big 3 value. But, Luka's been doing this for a few weeks now. You got Kyrie with the sore heel, so he's probably going to be out again tonight. That's why you have a 7.5 point favorite in the Mavericks tonight as well, too. I think that's an absolute, trap, in my opinion, to keep it real with you. I think that they're begging you to take the Nuggets tonight because the Nuggets are the world champions. The Nuggets are at home, blah, 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 blah. But still, Luke is playing the best basketball in the NBA right now. So this is really tough to just go ahead and say, let me invest in the 7.5 on the Nuggets side, knowing that this team is struggling from starting off 6-0. Now they're 11-10. This team has played nothing but just above 500 basketball since jumping out to a quick start. So why would I take you on a 7.5? You got to get back to being a dominant team. They're not a dominant team at this point in time right now. But you know what? Luka loves to go ahead and get his shine on. And I think that he's going to get his shine on tonight. I'm taking him with the plus 7.5. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so that's going to be the Mavs and the Nuggets for tonight. So we move forward, and who do we have up next? And this is going to be the nightcapper, and this is going to be the Nets and the Jazz. The Nets coming to this game 13-12. The Jazz struggling at 9-17. The Jazz, you already know what the problem is with the Jazz. The Jazz absolutely play no defense. I saw the night that they played against the Lakers that they're not worried about playing any defense. So that's why they're in the position that they're in now. Now, in the month of December, they've actually have went 3-4, you know what I mean? And it's been weird. You know, they had a 3-game losing streak, but then they snapped back and they've won their last 2 out of 3, including 2 in a row. But they have Brooklyn tonight at home, and this will probably be a game that they're going to be very, very high into, because the thing is, they don't come back home until December 30th. And right now I'm looking at their schedule. They have 5 straight road games. 3 of them start off back east, and then they wrap it up in San Antonio and New Orleans. But I think, though, at the end of the day, what happens in this game is that you have a Nets team that's playing really good basketball at this point for what you thought the Nets were going to be. The Nets are opposite. They're 4-3 for this month, but they have dropped their last 3 out of 4 after winning 3 games in a row. I think tonight, though, this will be much more of a aggressive effort from the Nets to end this 5-game winning the 5-game road trip on the right end. You know, they've lost 3 out of 4 on this West Coast swing, and they would love to go home with a win to end this trip and get themselves back into motion to make sure that they're in that top 6 for the Eastern Conference, which is a very, very, very movable. It is a conference of moving parts if your name is not the Celtics or the 76ers. Keep it real. You know what I mean? Even the Heat, the defending East champions, they are a team that's on the ladder of being up and down all season long. But all in all, though, the Nets are a team that have find themselves right back in the same position that they were in last year. So this should be a lot of fun tonight. And I like the Nets to actually take care of their business. They're +3. They're -3.5 on this right here. But for the game right now on our ticket, they're actually a -4. I think they can go ahead and cover that tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And we go from there. And with there, we do this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take ourselves another break. And when I come back, it's your favorite subject, my favorite subject. And it's nothing else but Talking Tickets, the world famous bets list, whatever you want to call it. But you guys know we've been at this for years. So pretty much you guys make sure to stay tuned for that. And when I get back, it's time to get some money.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing. With daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into Talkin Tickets. And what do we have for Talkin Tickets? Well, this is what we have for Talkin Tickets. And up first is going to be the CBB PrimeTime PK6. We got the 65-1. We got Coastal Carolina plus 16. We have Maine plus 16. We have Murray State money line minus 115. We have Bradley plus 165. We also have the minus 17 to Loyola Marymount. And then we also have the Fresno State 3.5 tonight as well, too. So that's a 65-1 ticket. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And as I always like to say, big value, small risk, big reward. Big value going on, baby. All right, so we have the 32-1 ticket with the Rockets being plus 145 tonight. We also have the over 217 with the Wolves and the Heat, the -4 to the Nets tonight, the +8 to the Mavs tonight. And then we also wrap it up with the Lakers under 234. This is going to give us a 32-1 ticket. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, we're going to end the show with the Monday Night Football bets. We got the Eagles -3.5. That's our bet from last Tuesday on the NFL Bet Exchange. And then we also have the over 22.5 with the first half. And then we have the Seahawks plus 115 first half. And then we have the Eagles 26.5 team total. And it's a plus 105 as well, too. So that's going to be our Monday Night Football bets for this week. And there it is. That's Talkin Tickets for y'all. Nothing but big value there, nothing but money there for you guys to go ahead and try to get. You know how I do it for you guys, as I always say. Bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And when you look at those tickets, you already know 65-1 delivers a nice the $1,300 for $20, and that 32-1 delivers a nice $640 for $20. So hey, get with the value, baby. You know how it goes. So all in all, as I always like to, I'm going to repeat it again because I said it a little too soon, but bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. And as I always say, and you guys already know what the deal is, man. There is no me without you. So I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have an NFL Bet Exchange for you guys. Hopefully I'll have Talkin Tickets for you as long as we got a busy schedule tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be over here talking about 2 games and things like that, because you know how it goes. If you have a big Monday night in the NBA, you'll have a small Tuesday night in the NBA. But we do have things to talk about as well, too, especially on the boxing end as well. So you guys make sure to tune in for all of that. You guys are absolutely the best. And so with that, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be looking out for the clips. Be looking out for the plays on the Twitter and all that good stuff, and on Facebook and all that stuff. But as I always say, share, retweet, spread the word. Let's get these numbers up, man. Let's do the damn thing. Let's make history. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best.